Hello and welcome to this demo video. Before we get started, I'd just like to explain to you a few things which will relate to all of the basic range spreadsheets. Number one, there is a key on the intro and setup tab of all of the spreadsheets showing what the different color headers mean. The blue headers mean that the cell's formulated, so it's locked and you can't change it. The yellow headers are where you can input data, and occasionally there might be some gray headers, which is just a different kind of data input, but we'll include instructions as and when that happens. The other thing that you can be aware of is there are ways in which you can damage the spreadsheet. So please do take a look at the link where you see this image, which will take you to a web page to show you how to better preserve your spreadsheet. Please feel free to keep a blank version of the spreadsheet somewhere, so that if you do mess up a spreadsheet that you're using, you can in fact just open a new one, a blank one. And some of the spreadsheets only last for a year, and then you've got a blank one to start the following year. So do keep a blank copy as a backup somewhere. And lastly, wherever you see this image, you can click on it. It'll take you back to the store where you purchased this product to see if you've got anything, any more products. One last thing, to see a demo video, you can click on this on a link that looks like this in order to go to the demo video, but that'll take you to the most recent demo. If in fact we've done upgrades and you're using an older version and you'd like to see the demo relating to your version, then do click on the watch on YouTube link, which will take you to that specific video on YouTube. So I think that's all you need to know. So without further ado, let's move on to this demo video. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the demo video for the simple stock manager. This one really does what it says on the tin. There's nothing to set up on the intro and setup tab. Do just take a look at some of these links, specifically how to keep your spreadsheet working. Just take a look at that and see how to, if you're going to be bringing data in from an external source into the spreadsheet. But without any further ado, we don't have to set up anything on this tab. So we click on the stock control and assignment. Now this looks confusing at the beginning, but it's fairly straightforward. As normal, the blue cells will calculate. So what you can do is here, in the yellow cell, the stock items, you can just name your stock items. So all the different bits and bobs that you have, name them. Make sure you don't have any duplicates. You don't want duplicate name items. It will flag up red if you do. But if we go down to the bottom, we see we've got a space for 1,000 items. So you can enter 1,000 stock items. So if you have different quantities, in other words, if you have maybe, I don't know, different sizes, or a bag of 500 grams or a gram, depending on whatever it is that you're using, obviously specify each one, but each item per line. Next, your minimum quantity. How many do you want to have? Do you need to have in stock at all time as a minimum? So obviously, if it gets down to 5 and you say, well, we're going to have 5 as a minimum, if it goes down to 4, it flags up as an alert, as it has done over here, because there you've got 4 in stock, so it's giving you alert. So it'll flag up alert to order more. So you put in your minimum quantity, the stock item name, and then the cost of the stock, the cost of the item, each item per row. And that essentially is what you need to set up at the beginning. That shouldn't necessarily change too much unless you add new stock items on, but if a price changes, you can just come in here and change that price. What you will be updating fairly often, the other thing is your start, so your starting stock. You might want to keep this. I mean, if you scroll across here, let's just take a look at the number of jobs. You've got 100 jobs, which means that depending on how long it's going to take you to do 100 jobs, if you only do 100 jobs in a year, then you can use a spreadsheet for a year. If you're doing 100 jobs a month, use the spreadsheet for a month. It just depends on how long it takes you to complete 100 jobs. So what you might end up doing is transferring this data from one sheet to another, maybe the following month or quarter, or however often you change it. So you can put the starting number of items per line in, and then these are adjustments. So if you have to make an adjustment, so for argument's sake, you find that there's something missing, or you've got an extra one that you didn't account for, or you found one, or you added one, or whatever the case might be, make adjustments in this column and add any new ones in this column. The reason why I've got different columns is just that you can see how many adjustments you've made and how many you've actually purchased in. So if you go and buy more stock, so for argument's sake, if you see, well, there's an alert here and you need 4 stock and you want to go and buy some more, and let's just say you buy in another 5, then you just add in 5 in the new, and it'll update everything else accordingly. So we can see at the end of the year how many you've used, how many you've got in stock, how many you started with, how many adjustments you made, how many new ones you've bought in this year. So you've got the breakdown. So if you put them in the right column, it'll give you a good breakdown at the end of the period. Let's just put that one in there. So what I'm saying is, yes, putting 5 in this column and 5 in that column will achieve the same thing here. But when you get the breakdown later on, you really want to put the values in the correct columns. So those are for all your stock. That section here is your default, that's your starting. This is your adjustments and your new products added. So you can just add values in here as you go along based on what you do. The next thing is, how many have you actually used for a job? So all you do is, each time you create a new job, get a new column, put in the job number. The job, I've just put job 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put in the job name. You can put in the name of the job just so you know who it's for, and put in the date. So I would say maybe put your client name in here or whatever else it might be, whatever reference you want to use, and then the date. The reason why you put that and the date is because if you have the same client again or the same job reference again on a different date, you can differentiate between the different jobs. Don't put the same client and the same date. If you do have job 1 on the 1st of January and job 1 on the 1st of January, it's going to clash. It's going to go red. So you want to make sure at least the date or the job name is different. So don't have the same job name and date combination twice. But each time, put in the job name, put in the date. This cost will automatically tally up. All you need to do is go down the list and select how many of each of these items. So if you came in here and said, well, yes, that's fine, but I also need one of those, you add one of those, the price updates, the stock will show an alert, and everything will update accordingly. So you just go down each column and select how many of each item you require for that particular job. Then it shows you the cost of your job as far as these materials are concerned. Obviously, you need to add on labor and whatever else you want to do, but at least your materials cost of that's coming out of your stock, that's the total. And that's all you really need to fill in. You just go along and you scroll across the right and you fill in job by job by job by job, and it'll keep track. And as soon as you put the values in, it'll show up alerts. It'll show if you run out of stock in anything, what you need to order, all the rest of it. If you come to your report at any time, once you've filled in any data, you can see your starting stock value, your current stock value, your used stock value, how many alerts do you have, how many no stock have you got. It says no number of stock, so you've got no stock in stock. Average sale, what's your average sale, your adjusted stock value, and your purchase stock over the period, however long you're going for. So I haven't set this for a month or a year. It'll show you the dates that you've inputted, so you can really keep this going for as long as you want to, or until you reach 100 jobs. You can see the previous 12 months. If you go beyond 12 months and you want to see the final date, if you want to change these dates at the bottom here, it'll always keep the last date when you entered a job. If you do want to change it to backdate to see if you've gone beyond a year, you can just type any date in this cell here. So let's just say you wanted to end, for example, in June. You can just put the 1st of June. And then it'll end on June. So whatever the date is here, which if you can put a date in any date within the month, whichever month you've got up here in year will be the last date on the spreadsheet. If you leave it blank, it'll take the last time you've entered a sale. So that's your report, and it'll update as you go along. You can leave that blank, and this will just update as you enter information in your stock control and assignment. The last thing you can do is come along to your job breakdown, where you can come here and select any job. See, that's what I was talking about, the job and the date combination. So you can go, I would like to see job 3 on the 1st of March. It'll pull it up, job 3, 1st of March, job 3, number, cost, date, page number 1 of 1. And there are all the items that you need to be, the unit cost, line cost, and so on for that particular job. If you've got a lot of items on it, it might say page 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. You can come here and just change it to 2 to see the second page. Just bear in mind that you want to go back to page 1 again before you select the next job, otherwise you might miss out on some information. And here you've got just some settings. So for example, show unit cost. Let's just say you want to use this report and you want to, maybe you've got someone working for you and you want to ask them to pull out some items from the stockroom, but you don't want to show costs, or you don't want to show something on here, or you don't want to show current stock levels, or whatever the case might be. If you say, for example, you don't want to show unit costs, you don't mind showing the overall, but you don't want to show unit costs, then you just come here and you say no, it'll take away the unit costs. It also takes away the line cost because the line costs are actually being calculated from the unit costs. So if you take that away, it'll take away the line cost, but you can leave the unit costs and take away the line costs if you wish, or obviously your current stock or anything like that, or you can take away that total cost at the top. If you want to take that away, it'll go blank. So you can adjust what you want to show and what you don't want to show. If you leave them all as yes, it'll show everything. You take them all off, it won't show your unit cost, line cost, current stock, or total cost. Just because you might want to be able to print this out for someone, and you maybe don't want them to see the prices or something like that. So you've got some adjustment over there. Your report updates as you go along. So you just update everything in this. Make sure you adjust the right column per line of stock. And that's it. Straightforward and simple. So if you've got hobby kind of business or arts and crafts or something like that, and you've got all those little bits and pieces of stock lying around that you use to make up your orders, this could be quite handy for you. And if that is helpful to you, I wish you all the best for that. Thank you and goodbye.